Hello everyone, Aric Hall with the Blaze of Glory. Today I'm going to go through a few pictures from my visits to Rock Creek, which is the last creek before the rock slide out at Earthquake Lake. Now the first picture is taken from the rock slide that I'm standing on, and Rock Creek is what is in the background in this picture. Rock Creek, before the earthquake dammed up that river, Rock Creek was both the campground road, the campsites, and the creek actually curved parallel to the Madison River and then joined the Madison River. Of course, after the valley was flooded, now Rock Creek basically dead ends at the highway, and when they rebuilt the highway, it dammed up the creek. Rock Creek, for those of you who recall some of my videos earlier this summer, I said that I had visited this creek where there were multiple people that had to be Forrest Fenn treasure hunters. It seems like half the time I went out there to try to go into this creek, someone else was there. And it's a creek that nobody should ever go into. I mean, it's not a fishing location. There's nothing to see as far as what a tourist might look for. If you hiked way up in this creek, you're going to see nothing but rocks and bare earth. There's no reason why anyone would go in there. And the only trail is quite short. It's not even a quarter of a mile. But yet I saw 2 or 3 cars, 2 pickups, and I think another vehicle. There was one group out there with their beer cooler. This was a place to be. There was one guy who was he had a maroonish red pickup, and he was out there turning over big rocks right in the middle of the trail. Why would anybody do that unless they're looking for a small square bronze box? It didn't matter that Forrest told us to stay away from trails. There were people looking for a treasure chest in the middle of the trail. After they built the current highway, it effectively dammed up Rock Creek. And I don't know if in the process they dredged or backhoed out some of the rock that's there, but you can see this blue pool. That water has a blue cast to it that's like glacial or snowpack melt. The only other place I have seen that is at the lakes below Gannett Peak and the Wind River Range. Well, that water comes from year-round snowmelt. That water is clear, even though it has a blue hint to it. You can see straight through it. If there's no wind and no ripple marks on the surface, you can see straight through to the bottom. I swear it's 30 feet deep. It looks very deep. You can tell from the tree trunks and rocks down in the bottom, but you can see all the way through it. One day I decided that I was going to walk across that creek. I mean, after all, it's a small, shallow creek. And so I went across without hip waders or boots or anything of the sort. That water is freezing cold. It'll make you sing. I felt like my feet were going to fall off. But I went across to the other side to kind of beat around some of the bushes and the little baby trees on the other side to see if maybe there was anything concealed in there that I wanted to find. Before I had made this trip, I had actually planned on hiking up the side of that mountain slope because there's some small rock outcroppings and rock scree up there on the opposite side of the creek, or what would be the west side. But when I got out there, I found out that that mountain slope was a whole lot steeper than I had expected, and no one would have gone up there. One day when I was below the Hebgen Dam, I was out there when a trout fisherman fell in the water, and that ice-cold water coming from below Lake Hebgen got down in his hip waders and chilled all of his unmentionables. He came up out of the water screaming a lot too and trying to get out of those hip waders. That freezing water will teach you how to sing. I did find quite a bit of quartz or quartz-infused rock along Rock Creek. I also found that the creek itself is very impassable. You know, I had said that if a creek is known for its rocks and boulders, they all look alike and nothing stands out. If it's known for trees, well, all the trees look alike and nothing stands out. I tried to walk along that creek as much as I could, but it is just impossible to get into or even stay close to it. It is just not someplace you could walk through. I mean, all of those boulders in the creek, you could hide a chest under or behind. Plenty of nooks and crannies halfway submerged, but you could never get to or around all of them. It's just not possible. And remember, you would be standing in that freezing water. As I went further up, the trail ends, and you can leave the trail and kind of wander through a forested area that has a lot of, like easy to walk through grasses, like walking through a shortcut field. I did not expect to find that up there, but there were some social trails. I followed some of those. And I went up to the first rock scree. Now, there's a lot of rock scree and open rock surface up Rock Creek, but once you get to that first rock scree, it is not easy for anybody to try to walk over that without breaking an ankle. So I felt quite certain that Forrest Fenn, at age 80, would not have gone up there either. Well, that's it for Rock Creek. I would certainly encourage you to visit and walk up that creek. It's very secluded, very shady creek, but it's fairly steep, and if you're looking for a treasure chest, I'm not sure which rock you might want to look behind or what dead tree. I couldn't find anything that particularly stood out. Remember to click like, share, subscribe, and donate.